Harry Potter, you will lose everything.
This is my review of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the first Harry Potter directed by David Yates. What is interesting about this movie is it is the movie right after the return of Lord Voldemort and having to deal with having Miss Umbridge as the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher, basically someone put in place by the Ministry to convince the whole school that Harry Potter and his friends are in fact lying about Lord Voldemort's return. Now, if that sounds creepy, it is creepy, but the movie does not get nearly as dark as the last three movies in the series. In fact, it's actually kind of fun. When I say fun, I don't mean that this movie is suddenly bright and cheery and, full of all sorts of happy things. It's fun to see Harry Potter and all his friends, the fifth years, the fourth years, the third years, so on and so forth, actually trying to make a difference. Most of all in their school, but also seeing how difference transfers from the school to the Ministry, and the way that they all work together to make that difference happen. It's good to see, and it's good to see students actually caring, especially in a movie like this. When I say fun, I do not mean fun in a way like, oh, it's bright and it's cheery, like watching a princess movie or watching a Disney movie or something. I mean fun as in watching. You see a lot of good things happening. Harry and his friends, the fifth years, the fourth years, the third years, so on and so forth, are all trying to make a difference at their school, while the Ministry is trying to brainwash everyone. And the difference that Harry and his friends make while at school transfers to the Ministry of Magic. Now, I could go on about, say, the performances of the actors, the special effects required, this and that. At this point, I think everyone is so used to seeing these guys play these roles, and we've seen them now 4 previous times. Here they are a 5th time. What's there to say? We know who they are already. They don't need to have to act at all, because why would they? What is nice though about having these the 3 stars of the show, having watched them actually grown up and watching all the adult cast as well in the movie. What is nice though about having these actors actually being more mature is now that they actually know how to act. They're not just trying to act. They actually are acting. The movie deviates, but not a lot, because of course Harry is now older. His character is older. The actor is older. The series has been going on for almost a decade now. So Harry is now picking up the role of a mentor, teaching students how to be better at their magic. And then of course you get to watch them all improve while under Harry's tutelage. So exciting. There's also, surprisingly, a heavy amount of action that doesn't really turn up until the very end of the movie, once Harry and friends have broken into the Ministry in an attempt to save Sirius Black. And that is when all hell breaks loose. Having Helena Bonham Carter in Harry Potter 5, what a good move on the filmmaker's part. Of course, I mean David Yates, but also the person who cast Helena Bonham Carter. She was not in the movie for very long. Sort of like the Timothy Spall role in Harry Potter 3. But for what amount of time she had, just a chilling performance she gave. The next most memorable character in the whole franchise would be Luna Lovegood, who actually gets her introduction in this movie, because of course she had her introduction in the 5th book. And Luna Lovegood makes for such an interesting and endearing character. You gotta love her. And I'm so glad that they cast who they did, because I think she's just adorable, frankly. Both personality-wise, as well as having a wonderful charm. She makes a good, interesting addition to an already compelling set of characters in the story. Being someone whom you're never quite sure where the heck her mind is. But she is by no means a bad person. She has no intention of any ill will toward anyone. Luna Lovegood is one of those really good examples of a fun, interesting character. Another example of how this movie deviates a little bit from past movies or movies that come after it with the introduction of her character. Harry Potter finally manages to land a kiss on a girl. Just because the movie itself isn't overall depressing or dark does not mean that it doesn't get really dark. Because, of course, of one particular moment in the book while Harry and his army are at the Ministry of Magic. Who should get the axe but Sirius Black? Well, thankfully, watching him go wasn't quite as bad as it could have been. But I don't think it actually could have been any worse now that I think about it. For those who are desensitized by or uninterested in movies that like to put a ton of CGI into films, especially films that have action sequences with a lot of CGI, a particular moment at the end when you have a wizard duel between Lord Voldemort and Dumbledore might come on as being a little too intense for people who either just aren't used to it or who do not care for it. I'm not saying that's a bad scene. It's a good scene, a really good scene. I liked it a lot. I liked the way it was made. I liked the way the care that was put into it. But for those who don't like that kind of thing, you may want to watch out. Thankfully, though, it does not last very long. So if that's not your thing, step out of the room for a minute or two, come back to see the rest, and see, well, what a happy ending this movie actually does have. In a way, I give Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix 4 out of 5 stars. It's not a great part of the series, but it's not bad at all. Actually, quite good. For some, it's their favorites, and it's not hard to see why. Enjoy the movie. Thank you very much for your time, and have an awesome day.